3 years ago, I had my eureka moment with photography. And that's when I found out that there's an M on my camera, which means manual mode. And that's when I started getting really creative with my shots. I started sharing my work on Instagram and people found out that I was taking photos. So my first jobs as a photographer started rolling in. All of this is a lot of fun, but of course it costs a lot of work as well. So in this past 3 years, I've gathered some tips and tricks. Yes, okay. But in this past 3 years, I've gathered some tips and tricks that make my workflow, my shooting process, my edit process just a little bit easier. So in this video, I'm gonna share my secrets with you. But first, I wanna get a coffee and then I'll get to the talking. All right, let's go. Alright, I found a pretty spot to film, but I'm here without my coffee because I spilled it all over my pants. I didn't think about the fact that I had to drive with my coffee whilst also driving my scooter, so I was like shaking around on my scooter and it just spilled all over my pants. Let's get to it. I have some tips for you that I really want to share. So I've been working as a model now for the past 5 to 6 years I think, and I've had photographers reach out to me if I wanted to collaborate. I've noticed that when a photographer reaches out to me with a mood board, I am more tempted to say yes. So when I reach out to models as a photographer, I always send a mood board. And with a mood board, I mean a representation of the style and the vibe you want to go for on the shoot. And maybe this sounds like a lot of work, but you can easily make it in Canva. I always make my mood boards in there. You could just put together some photos that work well together. So I would definitely recommend making a mood board because it really helps you out with reaching out to models. I don't know about you, but when I start shooting, most of the time I have a plan. And when I get to the location, I most of the time get distracted because I'm like, oh, that's cool to shoot. Oh, look at that little bench over there we can use for the photos. Look at that little reflection there. And I end up not taking all the shots I planned for. So a tip from me to you is stick to the plan, because that way you always end up getting the shots you wanted. And if you still have some time left on the shoot, I would definitely recommend just go ham, go freestyle, do all the ideas you thought would be cool as well. And I've noticed it helps me really well in working efficiently on my photo shoots. Also, I'm sitting here on the grass and I'm currently in Australia, as I said, and there are just so many bugs and animals here, and I don't know if they try and sting me or not. So I'm gonna keep it punchy, not only for you, but also for me, because I don't want to end up being fully stung. Next up is the editing. What I always do after I import my photos is I start editing back to front. Maybe this doesn't make sense, but I just scroll all the way back to the last photos I shot on the photo shoot. I always feel like my last shots are most of the time my best ones, because you're a bit more in the flow, you got comfortable maybe with the model, you got to know the location a bit better. So I start editing these first, because when I apply my filters or my presets, it just immediately looks very good compared to a shot I don't really like. And that doesn't really motivate me to continue editing because it just looks shit. Sometimes your client or the model wants to choose the photos themselves. This selection is then the selection you're gonna edit. But I have a little solution for that, and it is Pixie Sets. And this is an online gallery that you can share with your client. So what I do is I import all the photos that I think are worthy to send to the client, and then they can like the photos they want me to edit. I can exactly see which photos they liked, and then I can edit those. Also, I'm going very rapid pace through all my tips and tricks, but if you have any questions about all these topics, please let me know in the comments and I'll answer them for you. Sometimes I like to plan my feed a little bit just to see if colors will work together on my feed. And I've just spent so much money on apps that allow me to plan my feed, but I figured out a way that I don't have to spend money anymore, and that is just using my camera roll to plan my feed. What you do is you enter your camera roll and create a new album. And in this album, you just import, let's say, the last 6 photos you posted on Instagram. And then you import the photos you're planning on posting, or maybe you want to see if colors work together. And you can just move around your photos to exactly see what will work in what spot. 2 more tips left for you in store, and the next one is make a to-do list. I just don't make a normal to-do list. So I start writing down the task that's easiest. and I go from easiest to hardest task. And that's how I order my to-do list. Because if you start checking off your easier tasks, you're most likely to get in the flow of getting stuff done. And once you reach the bit harder tasks, you're like, oh, I already did the other ones, might as well do this one as well. It helps you so much in how efficient you work. I've reached my bottom tip. And that is use presets. Because when you create presets, you can also create separate folders. So most of the time what I do is I create a separate preset folder for my client. So let's say my client is called Tree. I don't know, but whatever. I named the folder Tree. And then all the presets I used on this photo shoot for this client, I just put in that folder. And the next time when this client books me again, I can just go into this folder, select the same preset, and then all the photos I create for that client are in the same style. Yeah. We have reached the bottom of my list full of tips for you. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any more questions, like I said, just ask me in the comments and I'll answer them for you. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed watching my video and I also hope to see you in the next one. Okay, doei doei, bye bye.